Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Alice Rouse, author of this little book we've got tonight. These other little books as well, where you can get them. Hit that link tree down in the description. Fiddle about, check it all out. Got some funny merchandise. Lots of stuff happening down there. Lots of good stuff. And as always, the good stuff here is you guys. Thank you so much for being just truly the most amazing family here. I love meeting the new people. I love the old people, the old family members here. I just am so truly thankful. I know I don't always seem like it, but I really am. Without you guys, there would just be, my world would be so much more dull and just not as pretty. So thank you so much for making my world just amazing every day. And every day I'm getting closer to book number 2. I finally got the outline done of the chapters. I've got the chapter's name. I kind of have an idea of the path I'm taking with this book, with where my voice is going. And the official title is And She Was, Life in the Aftermath, written and lived by Alice Rouse, because I like to do that with my, if you look at the cover of my book, it says written and lived by, because yeah, I lived it. And so here's the chapter outline. Kind of tell me what you guys think. So chapter 1, Life in the Aftermath, obviously the introduction to the book. Number 2, the Forrest Gump of groupies, kind of talking with, about that. The history of groupies kind of, was very, very limited as to where the 80s ladies, we kind of saw a lot of different music, a lot of different genres, a lot of different eras. Chapter 3, the death of the groupie, but not what you think it is. I'll tell you that much. Chapter 4, I'm Only Human. Chapter 5, let's see, singles, more about Seattle, about how kind of things happened there, because I'm very vague about a lot of things, and I love Kristen. She's like a sister. She's going to be one of my most favorite people for the rest of my life. That's just the way it is. She's beautiful inside and out. But sometimes things happen, and stuff happened in our friendship. All right. Number 6, bed hair in the morning after. And keep in mind, life in the aftermath. So this is kind of the aftermath of different eras of my life. Chapter 7, All That Glitters Ain't Gold. Gonna be one of the hardest chapters for me to write. Chapter 8, Strong Enough. And these are all kind of working titles. They can change at any minute. Strong Enough, again, the aftermath of salvaging what cannot be undone. Made it out alive. That's all I can say. Thank you. Chapter 9, Finding My Lost Filotes. Chapter 10, And She Was. So it's not going to be like 22 chapters like this first book was, because I think I'm saving some for book 3. Don't get excited. I'm not going to make any promises about book 3. But yeah, so that's what I have now. Tell me what you think down in the comments. And today's episode, though, you guys, is going to be something, we all waited a whole generation for. Just these boys that we all just fell so in love with. And every fucking tour that I have ever been on has referenced these guys, has had one of these moments that we all say, oh my God, it's a Spinal Tap moment. And we are now having another Spinal Tap moment, you guys. So excited. So excited that they have another one. But was the movie worth it? Let's find out, you guys. And today we're going to have a little Prodigy. These guys really do a great brew, no matter what they're doing. I really love these guys. Cache Valley, another Utah local. This is their barley wine. Now, barley wine is not necessarily wine. It's just aged. It has like caramel notes. It has different flavors that maybe you would find in, say, a Chardonnay or maybe not a Pinot Grigio, but more of a Chardonnay, more of that kind of richer flavor. So, and they're always going to be high. This is at 11%. So this is Prodigy, our locals, sweater weather. Because we are getting to that point, aren't we? We are so under sweater weather. Hold on, I got to open this. But yeah, we're getting to that point. It's that time of year, isn't it? The sweater weather. All right, there we go. So barley wine generally tends to be a little more caramelly. Ooh, and this does not disappoint. Let's see. Oh, that's a nice pour on that. Let's see what their description is. Just a warning. But yeah, just barley wine ale, 1 pint. All right, everybody. So grab your pints, kick up your feet, and let's have a little cocktails, rocktails. Cheers, big ears. Very good. Very good start to. I think I've had one other Prodigy flavor before, and really great start to discovering another local. These guys are awesome. This is, like I said, that kind of caramely, that kind of sweet, that kind of wintry flavor. Not rich, not heavy, still that kind of crispness of an ale, but not as summery as, your basic Bud Light or Montucky Cold Snacks or whatever, whatever that crisp lager flavor you're drinking is. And right now we're all drinking that Kool-Aid with Spinal Tap too, you guys. I was so excited about this coming out because, I mean, there's not, and ladies, gentlemen, out there on the road, everybody in between, put your comments of your Spinal Tap moment in the comments. Because like I said, every fucking band, oh my God, it was so Spinal Tap. We were trying to get to the stage. When if the story starts like that, it's going to be like Benny Hill ensued hilarity, right? And is it worth it? Is it worth, I rented it. I stayed at home. I didn't go to the movie theater. So I paid $20 to watch this movie. Was it worth it? Let's find out. But like I said, there's always that Spinal Tap moment. And you get so excited. And the first thing you see is Rob Reiner. We love Rob Reiner. I absolutely like all of his, I love a lot of his movies, from Best in Show, just so many that I actually really loved him in All in the Family. Who didn't watch it back in the day because we didn't have a shit ton of movies or anything to watch, channels. And who knew Rob Reiner would become the awesome filmmaker that he is now? He always hit some really cool, funny, controversial topics back then. So yeah, I always enjoy what he does. So it starts out kind of looking better than a Judas Priest concert, to be honest. They're here as we speak. So, fuck you, Glenn. Anyway, sorry, Lily. I love that you guys are still friends. That's awesome, but... So anyway, it starts looking better than a Judas Priest concert, which, at least with Spinal Tap, it has all its members minus the drummer. Because we know, and they sneak in, how we always say it goes up to 11? They sneak it in. How many drummers have you had? I don't know. 9? 12? 11. 11. So we get these little peeks into sneaking in things that we see from the previous movie, but not in a ostentatious or, oh, it's gonna be, like with Sex and the City, when they came out with Just Like That, it's not being renewed because they introduced too much of the previous series. Like, I think her relationship with Aiden just ruined the whole series. Spinal Tap 2 does not do that. Like I said, you get introduced, you start out with Rob Reiner, who's saying, hi, 20, 40 years ago, whatever, and it begins with a great character who replaces her dad, the manager. He's passed away, she's inherited, and I'm not going to give away the whole movie, I'm just kind of giving the premise. So she's inherited the contract. Derek Smalls has always tried to get different reunions, and because there was cancellation in Florida, when A Night with Stormy Daniels was canceled, they have an opportunity to do Spinal Tap. And I like the way that they introduce the members. They don't rely too much on the past to make filler for the film. Because, I mean, we all know it. We all know Spinal Tap. We all know Play a Good Show. But, so, he kind of visits it when he needs to. And you'll be surprised by some of the characters because Fran Drescher does make an appearance. The girlfriend, David St. Hubbard's girlfriend, makes an appearance. A lot of people, a lot of familiar faces come drifting by, and you'll be surprised by a couple of them. But so, and another reason for the comeback is because Garth Brooks and Trisha, his wife Trisha Yearwood, is that her name? I think so. But they were singing, what was it? Big Bottoms, and it went viral, and everybody's like, oh my God, this is a great song. They're like, yeah, it's Spinal Tap. So offsets the roller coaster in motion, right? So it tracks down all the members, and we see Nigel Tufnell, doing his thing, and we see the commercial of him playing in the pub band, and he makes cheese. He makes cheese. Yes, he does. And it kind of makes me wonder because you go along with the characters as you see them emerging, where they are now. Because like I said, the nostalgia is there, but it's not overwhelming in the movie. Then David St. Hubbins, you see him playing like little fairs and stuff as in a mariachi band he looks really good in the outfit though. Nudie suits are awesome. But yeah, so and the way they record it, and like his home recording studio that you see, and some of the music that you see being played, it's being introduced correctly. And I just kind of went on the journey and was like, where are they now? Like I was watching VH1. So it was really kind of nice to see that. Let's see what else I have notes. Hold on. Okay, so where was it? Okay, so David St. Hubbins, I like how they introduce him and the personalities with these guys, and especially with Derek Smalls when they introduce him in his glue museum. And it's like they pick up their personalities of their characters so beautifully, but they add to who they are now. Like they still have the core, and it starts to remind me really seriously of so many English rockers that I know. Like I swear to you, when it comes to like Nigel, there's definitely a little bit of Glenn Tipton in him. There's definitely a little bit of maybe Jimmy Page, but they definitely embody that old English rock star. And ladies, if we have been backstage with those English rock stars, we know that kind of passive aggressive, oh yeah, we'll fight. Hold on. Let me wash my hands. I'm going to slap you. Type of thing. We feel that kind of emotion that you are backstage with. And I like that. I think Rob Reiner, whatever he addresses and how he addresses it, like, I think he's what Woody Allen really, really tried to be, but really Woody Allen was more cynical and depressed, and Rob Reiner is more laughter backstage. He's bringing the joints. You know what I mean? So, and that really shows in the characters between Derek and Nigel and David. I think it really like brings them forward, and we're not too stuck in the past. I know I've said that a lot, but I think that's important with any sequel. That it's a jumping off point, but it's not something that needs to dominate the movie. And as the movie starts going, you realize how iconic this movie really was. Not to just us, the fans, It's iconic to other musicians because you see the parade of famous people starting with Paul McCartney. And then they start auditioning drummer, when they... Sorry, my allergies just so fucking horrible this time of year. But anyway, so when they start auditioning drummers, you see the people that you expect to see. Questlove, we've all seen him, and he's like, nah, no thanks. And that's where you see, how many drummers have you had? 11. We had to have 11 in there somewhere. That was a no-brainer. But then, of course, you see like Chad Smith, and Chad Smith says, hey, no, go look at this guy. Because, Spinal Tap drummers are known to not make it very long. So they keep pushing it back onto the next guy. No, we don't like him. Go to him. And then, like I said, and then with the person that ends up on the finale on the stage, fucking yeah, I love it. I fucking love it. And there's just enough references to like Stonehenge. We've all seen the commercial with the water bottle. Oh, it's tap water. But yeah, grand. It reminds me so much of sitting through like an interview or something with the guys, the English guys, and that kind of so docile air, you know what I mean? So the drummer that they pick is fucking rocking. Do they survive? You'll have to watch the movie. You have to watch the movie. Just when you think you know. Do you? I don't know. But anyway, so then they introduce the asshole character, you know, the Elvis that um he calls it the Elvis effect. But anyway, so he's an asshole character that has nothing to do with music because we've got to have that one nemesis throughout the whole movie, like we do the previous girlfriend with David St. Hubbins, right? Who she makes an appearance. Yes, she does. And of course, the songs are there. All of our favorite songs. Big Bottom, Smell the Glove, Stonehenge, oh, Bitch School, my personal favorite. Love it, love it. So they're there. Every song that we love is there. And there's one really cool a cappella moment that you will just step back and go, these guys can really fucking sing. You know, and we knew that, but just really, it just kind of blows me away. And the little drummer guy, Derek Smalls, he's always had such a deep voice. Like you've heard him in different Rob Reiner movies. Because, you know, Rob Reiner always has such a great cast of actors that will work with him that we just love. And then, like I said, with the nemesis that Rob Reiner chooses, you know, it's that coked up 1980s promoter who just would do anything for publicity. I don't care if you guys die. Well, what if we just get maimed? Because, you know, the Spinal Tap guys, they're proper English gentlemen. They are going to be polite when they tell you no and try and come to a compromise. So, and as the movie progresses, it really, really does, like, when they're doing rehearsals and stuff, and it just reminds me, like, there's a whole scene that reminds me of, like, Roger Daltrey right before he fired Zach and fired this guy and fired that guy and threw a tizzy on that, or was looking for Vicodin 2 weeks after a root canal, you know, so it just is so reminiscent of how sometimes when we're groupies and we're sitting back watching the band dynamic happen, it just really is reminiscent of all that. You have your good moments, you have your, like, what the fuck is going on the moments, you have your try not to laugh moments, you know. Okay. But yeah, all in all, absolutely, I really enjoyed the movie. Like, I didn't want it to be Spinal Tap #1. And it was not, but it had enough in it to bring it along. And there's a whole song. It's gonna be the hit of 2025. I am telling you, it is the music we need right now. It's called Cups and Cakes. Cups and Cakes. When you see it in the movie, it will be on your mind. So, and there's at least one creepy old man kind of hitting on the girl type of thing throughout the movie. Again, you'll know it when you see it. But like I said, all in all, I really enjoyed this film. I had a great time. Is it epic? No, but it is the perfect follow-up to the epic original. I loved it. It was fun. It was worth the $20 I spent on Amazon, you know, on Prime to watch it. So, highly, highly recommend it. If you haven't watched it, let me know. And, you know, I kind of felt myself, maybe it was the vibe because I knew Judas Priest was in town. And no, I'm not going. I don't need to visit that. I don't need to visit that chapter anymore. No follow-ups, no second movies for that. But I just kind of found myself drawn, and I thought, I wonder if these guys really, were a real band and they were coming back out, which one would you sleep with? Of course, I would be with Nigel. Tell me in the comments who you would be with. And as always, thank you guys so, so much for just hanging out with me, for getting through all my fucking life shit with me, for just having fun, discovering my channel, for being here, for just being fucking awesome and killer rock and roll community. We don't have that much anymore, so thank you guys for making it here. I really, really appreciate this family. And for getting through the whole episode. Like I said, tell me what you thought of the movie. Tell me which one of you would sleep with. And tell me what you want to see next. No, that's not an awkward ending at all. But yeah, tell me if you have any questions, if you have anything you'd like to see that I have not touched up on the topic yet. I'd be happy to do that. I'm going through a couple more books. Just discovered a girl from Australia that was a groupie. That we don't hear much about Australia. I know a couple of you ladies that are from Australia. I am fascinated with the scene there, so let me know anything you'd like to see. I would be happy to do the episode on. Got a few more interviews lined up. Diana's coming back. I'm going to see if Maxine would like to join us again. Just a lot of cool things. So share, share, share. Get us out there because we need this. We have so many rock and roll stories from the angle of the men that lived the life, and the groupies are just secondary. Finally, we have a rock era that everybody loves. Finally, we have not just me as the groupie, but the other girls that I lived with enough meat to make a series. At least a mini-series. We finally have something that can be told from the groupie's point of view. So share, share, share. Subscribe. Let's get out there. Let's get noticed. Let's get the interest for the purchase rights. Yay! And hit my bells. So we'll see you next time on Cocktails and Rocktails. Cheers, my dears.